of the Department of Sanskrit, University of Madras. I think for many of us, or most of us, or perhaps all of us, he does not require any introduction. And I just came to know from Dr. K. Srinivasan, who was only senior to him in the college, was our teacher, that Dr. Padmanabhan was a cricket player representing district. He was a wicket keeper. Apart from being proficient in Sanskrit. Yes. But, so he is also from Vivekananda College. He did his post-graduation there. Then he worked for his PhD under Professor Narasimhachari on Parashara Bhatta. And he is a multifaceted scholar. He is an eminent scholar in Sanskrit, English and Tamil. And he is a much sought after scholar from most of the universities in South India and also in North India. And so many universities send him their PhD dissertations for evaluation, or for setting papers, or for appointing lecturers or readers or professors in their universities, or for selections, and many other academic functions. So he finds no time to spare for any other activities except for academic pursuits, not only in Chennai but in all other places. And he is no stranger to us. He has been connected with our research institute for such a long time. And before taking up this position in Madras University as lecturer, he was in French Institute of Indology, working on many projects, especially on architecture, iconography, like Shilpa Shastra. So he is adept in Vaishnava Agamas and Visishtadvaita studies also, and Sanskrit literature, technical literature, name it. And he has produced many MPhils and PhDs. And he has been helping many of our research scholars, whether they belong to the institute or from any college or from the other departments of the Madras University. And we are indeed thankful to him for readily accepting to come over here to deliver the valedictory function. Sir, there were about 50, just one less than 50 scholars who participated in this two-day national seminar on Sanskrit and Tamilnadu. Of course, yesterday some 4 or 5 could not come because of the bandh. Those especially from Srirangam, they could not come, and one from Pondicherry, but all others could make it, and all the papers were uniformly good. So we should be very happy. We can congratulate all the paper presenters, and those who chaired each session also made pertinent remarks. So it was a very good and well organized seminar, and also the support from the faculty members of different colleges in and around Chennai and also outside Chennai is heartwarming. And now I request our governing body member Dr. Mahadevan to come and honor Dr. Padmanabhan on behalf of our research institute. Also the
Nadu, Andhra or Karnataka is only very late. So, when we speak of Tamil Nadu and Sanskrit, we think of only the recent, perhaps after the British colonization. And prior to that, there is no such division as Tamil Nadu, Andhra or Karnataka, something like that. So this part of peninsula was better known as the Dravida Desha, that's all. And the word Dravida denotes all the other states, both Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Karnataka and parts of Orissa as well. So, the title, the Tamil Nadu, is only restricted, rather the boundaries are drawn with regard to certain areas only and not to the whole southern peninsula. But if we look back at the history, people belonging to the other states in the modern era too have contributed, and they were well versed even in Tamil language. You take the parts of Kerala and parts of Andhra and parts of Karnataka, scholars were well versed in both these two languages, Tamil as well as Sanskrit, in addition to their own regional language. Many of us have read Dr. U.V. Swaminatha Iyer's biography, Suyasarthi, in Suyasarthi. There he states, while commenting about the commentatorial tradition of the Divya Prabandha, he says, the Tamil scholars were adept in both the languages, Tamil as well as in Sanskrit. One of my senior colleagues in the university, in the department of Tamil, Professor Manavadan, he used to say emphatically, and he said, I have enough evidence to show this point. His contention was that it was Tamilians who contributed more to Sanskrit than any other person in India, which is true. And unfortunately, in today's scenario, we have this part of the state protesting against Sanskrit. It is no exaggeration to say that the Tamilians were more adept and more conversant with this ancient language than any other part of the country. We can see the literature itself, the influence of one language on the other. And the debate is going on, which is the ancient language. The Tamil is the ancient or Sanskrit is the ancient. And there is, of course, the fanatics are there who says that Tamil is the oldest language in the world and all other languages only emanated from this language. And in this regard, there was one seminar in the university, Mahabharata and Tirukkural, and two professors were talking on this subject, and one Tamil professor was very angry with this. Who is earlier, sir? The Vyasa is earlier or Valluvar was earlier? This was the debate, to which my professor, Dr. Vedanathan, was chairing that session, and he made a remark. Sir, I do not know whether Vyasa or Thiruvalluvar is earlier or later, but I can certainly say both of them were great scholars. That's all. So it is only the content that mattered more to the scholars rather than the history of that aspect. Who is earlier or later is not the question that we are going to say or debate. Which influenced the other language. So we know in the science of language, the inflectional language, which language influenced. Certainly one language has influenced the other. There is no doubt about that. But the net result was that scholars belonging to this area that's why they were able to comment upon the Sanskrit texts so comfortably and easily. This is a fact. Unfortunately, I could not present myself for the paper presented by my good friend Mr. Krishna, who spoke on this Manipravala topic, and which is so exclusive for this part of the country. When we speak of this style Manipravala, I doubt whether any other language do have this advantage, because other than Tamil, all other languages are akin to this Sanskrit language, and perhaps they will coin their own expression or their own language. But if you come to Tamil, we can see the very happy blend of these two languages. One becomes the money and the other one is the pravada. That's why we could see many Sanskrit texts that are translated in Tamil. You can see the literal translation of certain expressions of the Sanskrit language in Tamil as well. It is exactly the same expression. As time passed on, many scholars tried to translate the Sanskrit technical texts into the Sanskritized Tamil form. For instance, we say Hiranyagarbha. The expression Hiranyagarbha can very easily be translated as Hiranyagarbha itself or any other expression. But if you try to translate this in Tamil as Hiranyakarupar, it has a total different sense altogether. It requires some understanding or training to understand these technical expressions. Therefore, unless otherwise we are conversant with these two languages comfortably, we will not be able to understand this. And that's why we could see the translations of almost all classics. If you go to the ancient literature, even Sangam literature also, the paper was there, Mahabharata and Sanskrit was translated. We could see the easy translation of that. When you translate from one language to the other language, unless otherwise you are conversant with these two languages, it is impossible to translate the text at all. We could see the Westerners translating many of the texts, having the dictionary by their side and trying to translate it literally without translating the ideas themselves. And you go to Bharatiyar. Bharatiyar has translated the Bhagavad Gita, the Yoga Sutra very beautifully. And scholars belonging to this earlier era or earlier century, they had no aversion to Sanskrit. My good friend Dr. Ramachandran has rightly marked that language, unfortunately, is understood with religion, which is not the case. And if you see Sanskrit, we can see wonderful texts preaching atheism as well. We see the Charvaka philosophy that is well articulated. Fortunately, people belonging to this region are not aware of this fact. Had they been, it would have been a different issue. For instance, you take the Tattva Upapalava Simha that has been published, has not come to the notice of these people. The arguments advanced in favor of atheistic philosophy is something extraordinary. So, the misconception that language is related to religion or community was totally wrong. And that's why judges who are well versed, maybe the judgments or the judges were not part of Tamilians, perhaps. That's why they were able to give such a judgment in this regard. Therefore, the aversion to one language was unfortunate in this way. But history says that it was people belonging to this part of the country contributed to a greater extent than anybody else. The institute is doing a wonderful job over several decades, I should say, because I am associated as a research scholar right from the days of Professor Janaki, who had always a soft corner for me, and whenever there was a seminar or function, she used to invite me and ask whether any seminar could be arranged in the area of your specialization. That's how it was she who first arranged. I remember it was in the year 1979 or 80, the seminar on Agamas, which I arranged some of the scholars to participate, and from then on, it's nearly more than 3 decades I am associating myself in the endeavors of this institute. I am happy that the institute has arranged this seminar, particularly in the interest of the scholars, the upcoming scholars, I should say, because as seniors, we have nothing to contribute to the younger generation. Perhaps we can only guide them. I request that the papers could be published at a later stage for the benefit of the scholars so that they would be benefited. The other area is that the publication of the texts that has been doing this in this area from this institute. I know there are more than hundreds of books that has been brought out successfully, and I wish the service of this institute for the field of Indology should go on forever. I congratulate each and every participant who had participated